Hello everyone, my name is Yoshimitsu, and welcome to the Japanese lore of Dark Souls. As the title implies, I will be referring to the original Japanese text over the translated English text. If there's any discrepancies between the versions, I will always take what the original Japanese states as fact. I take this approach as many lore elements have been lost due to translation, and I'm hoping that I can bring some answers to long debated and unanswered lore questions, and bring some new theories of mine as well. Let's begin. In this video, I will be talking about the infamous ancient dragon, Seath the Scaleless. To start, I will begin with the dragon weapon of Seath. The Moonlight Greatsword reads, "This sword, one of the rare dragon weapons, came from the tail of Seath the Scaleless, the pale white dragon who betrayed his own. Seath is the grandfather of sorcery, and the sword is imbued with his magic, which shall be unleashed as a wave of moonlight." The term grandfather of sorcery is Majutsu no Sotaru Shisu. Majutsu translates to sorcery or magic. Now the kanji so can translate as grandfather, but it really translates as the originator, pioneer, founder, ancestor, etc. This kanji so is also used to describe Gilia, the father of hexing. And this kanji so is also used to describe Quilana of Izalith, mother of pyromancy. The grandfather of sorcery, father of hexing, mother of pyromancy, all use the same kanji, so. And all three really should be translated as the originator, pioneer, or the founder. Seath is also the only ancient dragon without scales. The Dark Moon Knight states this regarding Seath. At the Regal Archives, he immersed himself in research on scales of immortality, the one thing he did not have, but his very research drove him mad. Throughout his research, Seath committed countless number of experiments. The channelers were the ones who helped him with these experiments. The six-side helm of the channeler reads, "Helm of the channelers, sorcerers that serve Seath the Scaleless. The 6 eyes arranged in 2 vertical columns compensate for Seath's lack of sight." And these channelers are the ones who found the specimens for the experiments. The robe of the channeler reads, "Robe of the channelers, sorcerers that serve Seath the Scaleless. Even after the onset of Seath's madness, the Snatchers, as they were often called, ventured to far lands to find suitable human specimens, the heaviest of protective gear for sorcerers and imbued with magic." These channelers are actually not channelers. They're called Dendosha in Japanese. Dendosha translates to evangelist, and the robes they wear are sei, which translate to holy robes. These sorcerers who served Seath are actually evangelists who wore holy robes. Now, the human specimens these evangelists kidnapped were experimented upon. The Archive Tower cell key reads, "Key to the cell of the Duke's Archive Tower. The Archive Tower, once a trove of precious tomes and letters, became a prison after the onset of Seath's madness. The serpent men who guard the prison know not the value of what they hide. In the basement of the tower are the writhing mistakes of the terrifying experiments which were conducted there." And the Archive Tower giant cell key reads, "Key to the giant cell below the Duke's Archive Tower. The giant cell once imprisoned countless maidens, but is now empty, save for a few key persons. They struggle to uphold their sanity, as the horde of mistakes writhe at a fearful close proximity." Now the term mistakes comes from otoshigo. Otoshigo can translate to spawn, as it is used to describe the star spawn of Cthulhu, the formless spawn, the spawn of the Green Abyss, and etc. The two in a corner have retained their humanity, as they do not attack the player, and instead can be found crying. Once these two are killed, they drop the miracles Soothing Sunlight and Bountiful Sunlight. Bountiful Sunlight reads, "Special miracle granted to the maidens of Guinevere, Princess of the Sun. Soothing Sunlight also has the same description. Based off the key descriptions and the miracles dropping from the Otoshigo, I do assume these Otoshigo, or spawns, are former maidens who were kidnapped and experimented upon. The Moonlight Butterflies are also experiments of Seath. The Moonlight Butterfly soul reads, Soul of the mystical moonlight butterfly which flitters in the dark root garden. Special beings have special souls. The butterfly's soul is a creation of Seath the Scaleless. The Moonlight Butterfly's soul can be used to ascend shields to the Crystal Ring Shield, and it reads, Weapon born from the mystical creature of the dark root garden, the Moonlight Butterfly. Imbued with a powerful crystal power, like the butterfly created by Seath the Scaleless, can emit crystal light rings. Its weapon art is referred to as Kessho no Kori, crystal light rings. These light rings look very similar to the miracle, Way of the White Corona. The Way of the White Corona miracle reads, A lost Way of White miracle launches a white discus which slices into foes and returns to its conjurer. Long ago, when the imprints left by the gods were still deep, miracles of the Way of White existed alongside Orioles. Those who yearned for the long-lost Orioles fully believed that they would return one day. The white discus are called Shiroi Kori, white light rings, and this is the same naming format as the crystal light rings, Kessho no Kori. Now if you give the Moonlight Butterfly soul to Frampt, he will give more souls than what the soul itself is worth. This hints the Moonlight Butterfly is female, as Frampt offers a higher number of souls for anything that is female or female related. The Moonlight Butterflies were maidens who used the Way of White Corona miracle, captured and experimented upon by Seath. Based on the white light rings turning into crystal light rings, the maidens were likely imbued with crystal. Now the influence of Seath in experiments reached beyond Lordran. In Drang Lake, an area known as Brightstone Cove Tseldora shows Seath's influences as well. Brightstone Cove Tseldora is Kiseki-machi Jerudora. Kiseki is pyroxene, and therefore Tseldora should be the city of pyroxene, Geldora. Not too sure why the name was changed from Geldora to Tseldora. Anyways, Tseldora flourished by mining the pyroxene. Tseldora robe reads, Robe worn by the settlers of Tseldora. Rather fancy, but with low defense and unfit for battle. The bright stone that brought prosperity to Tseldora served to stoke the flames of its people's desires, eventually leading to its ruin. Those bewitching, brilliantly gleaming stones are said to be fragments of a being that once roamed the entrails of the earth. And the Duke of Tseldora had a strong fascination with spiders. The Brightstone Key reads, Key used in the Brightstone Cove Tseldora. The eccentric Lord Tseldora, known for his fascination with spiders, built a town and a personal fortune by mining Brightstone. One day, the town was overrun, but Lord Tseldora only stood by and watched eerily contented. And the spider the Duke most prized was Freya. The soul of Duke's dear Freya reads, Soul of Duke's dear Freya, the Writhing Ruin's keeper. The Writhing Ruin is an ancient thing whose shadow remains cast over the land. It first took possession of a solitary insect, but grew its power, feasting on the wealth of twisted souls found in the land. The Writhing Ruin is Haumushi. Hau translates as to crawl, and mushi translates to insect. The Writhing Ruin should be translated as the crawling insect. Duke Tseldora's dear Freya was the keeper of the crawling insect. So who or what is this crawling insect? Shanalot states, Seek those whose names are unutterable, the four endowed with immense souls. The four great souls are 1. The old witch soul, held by the lost sinner. 1. the old king soul held by the old Iron King. 1, the old dead one soul held by the rotten. And 1, the old pale drake soul. But the pale drake soul is not held by Freya. This grey soul is held by the small glowing dot. And this glowing red dot is the Haumushi, the crawling insect. And this crawling insect is one of the 4 great souls. The old pale drake soul is Furuki Hakuryu no Souru. Furuki translates to old or ancient. Hakuryu translates to white dragon. The old pale drake soul should be the old white dragon soul. And this old white dragon soul can be transposed by weaponsmith Ornifex into the Moonlight Greatsword, the dragon weapon associated with Seath, the white dragon. Shalkwar, the cat, states this regarding the writhing ruin or the crawling insect. Oh, it's that awful traitor long ago. He coveted what he did not have, and it drove him mad. What a curious conundrum. The writhing ruin keeps searching as we speak, searching for its heart's desire. The writhing ruin that Shalkwar is speaking about is Haumushi, crawling insect. Shalkwar is talking about the crawling insect that holds Seath's great soul. Based on all the information that I've been covering, I will make the assumption this Haumushi, or crawling insect, is Seath himself. Seath is also an ancient dragon who betrayed his own. The opening states, "And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more." This statement in Japanese actually states the dragons were finally defeated, not the dragons were no more. When Seath betrayed the dragons, he was awarded dukedom. The bequeathed Lord Soul Shard for Seath reads, Seath allied with Lord Gwyn and turned upon the dragons, and for this he was awarded dukedom, embraced by the royalty and given a fragment of a great soul. Although just a piece, it will still satiate the Lord Vessel. Here, something very critical to the lore is lost in this translation. The portion where it states, he was awarded dukedom, embraced by the royalty is, 後に公爵として王の外戚となった時 in Japanese. It states Seath became a gaiseki to the king. Gaiseki is a word that describes the mother of the king, or describes the queen's side of the royal family, something similar to a consort kin. And the only way for Seath to become a gaiseki is for him to have a daughter, and this daughter to marry the king and become his queen. In this situation, the king likely points to Gwyn. There really isn't any other way to interpret this. Seath definitely had a daughter. Priscilla and Shira are the two that immediately come to mind as possible candidates as daughters of Seath. But I believe neither are the daughter that married Gwyn. I will begin with Shira. Shira is a knight of Princess Filianor who resides in the Ringed City. She is also one of the few female knights from the Age of Gods. Lightning Arrow reads, the few female knights who serve in the Age of the Gods use this miracle for dragon slaying. Draw a lightning bow to fire a lightning arrow. The lightning arrows offer a great improvement to the range of the spears, and were said to have been used to pierce the eyes of the dragons from afar. But remember, beautiful stories are always marked by embellishment. Shira's armor also confirms she is a descendant of royalty. Shira's armor reads, Armor of Shira, knight in service to Filianor, a rare woman's piece from ancient times. With a spun gold shawl draped over the silver breastplate and a green woven skirt, this armor offers a subdued yet refined elegance, apropos to both a handmaiden of the princess and one whose veins course with royal blood. This royal blood is likely that of Gwyn's. When Shira invades, she states, I've searched for thee, dark-stricken creature. I am Shira, daughter of the Duke, descendant of the gods, and trusted friend to Midir. In Japanese, she states she is Kami no Sue. Kami translates to God, Sue translates to descendant. She is the descendant of God. And in the world of Dark Souls, Kami, or God, is Gwyn. In Japanese, Shira is stating she is the descendant of God, then states she is the daughter of the Duke. As Seath is a Duke, this hints at the possibility that Shira is the daughter of Duke Seath. Her crown also has a connection with Seath. Shira's crown reads, Crown of Shira, knight in service to Filianor, finely crafted with silver and fashioned with a pearl from a man-eater shell. Man-eater shells can be found in the Crystal Caves, which is the domain of Seath. This hints at a connection between Seath and Shira, but I believe this is an intentional misdirection by From Software. You see, I believe Shira is the daughter of Sir Arstor of Karam. So I'll explain. The shotel reads, Curved sword with sharply curved blade, created by Arstor, Earl of Karam, requires great skill to wield, but evades shield defenses to sneak and damage. Arstor, Earl of Karam, in Japanese is Karimu Haku Arusta. The Haku is from Hakushaku, which translates to Earl. However, Sir Arstor's title does not stay the same with the bite ring descriptions. The curse bite ring reads, one of the infamous bite rings commissioned by Sir Arstor of Karam. Despite the dreadful rumors surrounding its creation, this ring is an unmistakable asset in its ability to help prevent curses. Sir Karam of Arstor in Japanese reads as Karimu ko Arusta. The ko indicates Arstor is a koshaku, a duke, not an earl. And the same applies for Arstor's spear. He is not Earl Arstor the Impaler. He is Duke Arstor the Impaler. Based on the descriptions, Sir Arstor was an earl when he created the shotel. And when Sir Arstor had the bite rings commissioned, he was a duke. And Duke Arstor and Shira have an interesting connection, and that connection is the man-eater shells. When you kill the man-eater shells, they drop the purging stones. The purging stone reads, Ash-colored stone encasing a skull, secret treasure of Arstor, the Earl of Karam, reduces curse buildup and breaks curse. Humans are helpless against curses and can only redirect their influence. The purging stone does not dispel curses, but receives them as a surrogate. The stone itself was once a person or some other being. The purging monument found in the Ring City, like the purging stone, can also cure curses. The abundance of human skulls can be observed with the purging monument. I will make the assumption at this point the material used to create the purging stone and the purging monument are from the same source. And the crown of Shira states that it also has a pearl from a man-eater shell. When you look at the corpse of a man-eater shell, the pearls are not pearls, they're human skulls. This would indicate the pearl on Shira's crown is also made from a human skull. And purging stones, a secret treasure of Duke Arstor, drop from these man-eater shells. You see, I am of the theory that Shira, Knight of Filianor, is the daughter of Duke Arstor of Karam, not the daughter of Duke Seath. Next, Priscilla is a crossbreed who resides in the painted world of Ariamis. Her title, in Japanese, is Junpaku no Hanryu. Junpaku translates to pure white, Hanryu translates to half-dragon. Defeating her gives the achievement, Defeat Crossbreed Priscilla. The same achievement in Japanese is Kami no Gekha, Hanryu Purishira. Kami translates to God, Gekha translates to defeat. The Japanese achievement outright confirms Priscilla is a god. Therefore, Priscilla the crossbreed is half dragon and half god. And Priscilla is also a bastard child. Priscilla's soul states, Soul of Priscilla the crossbreed, trapped inside the painted world of Ariamis. Special beings have special souls. Use the soul of this crossbreed bastard child and antithesis to all life to acquire a huge amount of souls, or to create a unique weapon. Bastard child indicates Priscilla was born between parents not married to each other. In Japanese, the term bastard child is translated from fuginoko. Fuginoko is a term used for illegitimate children. Priscilla is an illegitimate bastard child born between a dragon and a god. Now, the dragon parent is often thought to be Seath the Scaleless, but Priscilla is the Junpaku no Handyu, the pure white half-dragon. Seath is the Hakuryu, the white dragon. The power Seath wields is the power of the moonlight. Priscilla wields the power of Life Hunt. And visually speaking, Priscilla also looks like she has fur instead of being scaleless. I do not believe Seath is the parent of Priscilla. The theory I have is Priscilla, the stark white dragon and god crossbreed, is the daughter of Alvina, the white cat. So I'll explain my theory. Cats are a type of dragon. I'll refer to Shalquar, another cat that can be found in the small hut in Majula. Sweet Shalquar states, "Oh, it's like that awful trader long ago. He coveted what he did not have, and it drove him mad. What a curious conundrum. The writhing ruin keeps searching as we speak, searching for its heart's desire." The writhing ruin is the haumushi, the crawling insect which I've explained earlier is Seath. Sweet Shalquar is directly calling Seath a traitor, and in Japanese, this is even more clear. Shalquar directly calls Seath an uragirimono, a traitor. Others who refer to Seath do not call him directly a traitor. Logan states, "Furui ryū tachi wo uragitte." He turned against the ancient dragons. The Dark Moon Knight also says, "Koryu no uragirimono da." He turned against the ancient dragons. Shalquar considers Seath a traitor, not a traitor of the ancient dragons. This indicates Shalquar is on the side of the ancient dragons. And cats are ancient. The Cat Covenant ring reads, "Ring granted to those bound by the Forest Hunter Covenant. Answer Alvina's summoning. The white cat Alvina speaks a human tongue and has lived since the early age of fire. Alvina was a trusted friend of Knight Artorius and the great wolf Sif." And as I've mentioned earlier, Priscilla is known as the Junpaku no Handyu, the pure white half-dragon. And this term Junpaku is used in one other item description, and that is the Ring of Fog, given by Alvina, the white cat. The Ring of Fog reads, "Those who befriend Alvina are given this mysterious ring. It resembles a pearl with its robust pure white fog. The ring camouflages its wearer's presence, helping to prevent detection." The term robust pure white fog is Junpaku no Koikiri in Japanese. And Priscilla is the Junpaku no Handyu, the pure white half-dragon. And if you attack Priscilla, she disappears and goes invisible. If you attack Alvina, she also disappears. Priscilla, the stark white dragon and god crossbreed, is the daughter of Alvina, the white cat. But if Shira and Priscilla are not the daughter of Seath, this still leaves the question of who the daughter of Seath is. And I believe the individual who is Seath's daughter is Rosaria, mother of Rebirth. Rosaria is in a secret room within the Cathedral of the Deep and is the covenant leader of Rosaria's fingers. Her soul transposes into the miracle Bountiful Sunlight. Bountiful Sunlight reads, "Special miracle granted to the maidens of Guinevere, Princess of the Sun. Gradual hit point restoration for self and vicinity." Now the fact Rosaria's soul transposes into Bountiful Sunlight confirms Rosaria is either a descendant or maiden of Guinevere. And Rosaria's soul is the only one that can be transposed into one item. Every other soul can be transposed into a minimum of 2 different items. And this is where Leonhard and his Crescent Moon Sword come in. The Crescent Moon Sword reads, Leonhard set out on a journey of rebirth, but decided instead to serve the goddess as a knight and inherited this weapon. The Japanese description is much more direct in stating Leonhard inherited this weapon after he chose to serve Rosaria as a knight. And the Crescent Moon Sword also requires Titanite Scale to upgrade. Titanite Scale reads, Titanite altered by a soul. Reinforces soul transposed weapons to +4. Weapons forged by a soul transposition can only be reinforced by Titanite of the same kind. Based off of this, the Crescent Moon Sword is a soul transposed weapon. So why would Rosaria have a transposed weapon like the Crescent Moon Sword to inherit to Leonhard? The answer, I believe, is because the Crescent Moon Sword was transposed from Rosaria's soul when Leonhard inherited the weapon from her. The soul of Rosaria, compared with other souls, is all twisted, warped, and shows signs of possible tampering. When fighting Leonhard for Rosaria's soul, he states, What do you want with her soul? Isn't flesh enough for a sick beast? And when you defeat Leonhard, you are able to recover Rosaria's soul. Rosaria's soul reads, The soul of Rosaria, mother of rebirth, stolen by Ringfinger Leonhard. Return this to her extant corpse, and Mother Rosaria will spring back to life as if nothing had ever happened. What I take from this is that Rosaria's body is a corpse, and her soul is what brings life to her body. I believe Rosaria is a maiden, experimented upon by Seath. She's likely a corpse that has been infused with one of Seath's experimental maidens that has been infused with moonlight. And I believe Rosaria was presented to Gwyn as a daughter of Seath. Well, thanks for watching everyone. Please let me know what you think regarding my thoughts for Seath in the comments. I love reading and listening to other people's lore theories, so please do comment. And until we meet again in my next video, don't you dare go hollow.